Hello YouTube. I'm out here sitting in the sun, savoring it. It's beautiful. Listening to the birds, watching the river, the creek. It's been a long time since I've been on here. A great delay. I kind of missed most of the summer months of being on here for YouTube this year. With great reason. I was a full-time head coach for my senior age high schoolers volleyball team, which I've done before but not been the head coach, so that had some extra. And then me and several of our staff for the volleyball team, we got COVID during season and had to quarantine and do what a lot of people are doing, and I've been dealing with trying to recover from that, and it's been tough. Long haul COVID is a real thing. So I'm going to show you my garden, but it is very, very neglected. I almost feel like it could be one of those before and after, like, home renovations kind of thing. It's beautiful in some ways, and a whole lot of mess. I haven't even to just like gather up all the pumpkins and to get rid of all the zucchinis that are dead and all of those kinds of things. It's just I have to pace myself. This fall will definitely be clean up inch by inch rather than yard by yard. It'll be slow and steady, but it's still been a place of comfort to me. I've sat out here so many times just like this and savored a cup of tea and enjoyed the little things. I was just walking over to find there's some pumpkins that grew through the fence onto the neighbor's property, and when I turned around and came back, I found an entire pumpkin that I didn't even know was there, and it's huge. So that kind of delight is just super precious. And so I don't have a majorly immaculate garden to show you. There is some beauty to find in it. I still have a couple dahlias and flowers going. I haven't pulled anything out yet except for what I've wanted to chop and drop right there in its place, and I have a lot of work to do. But today I'm just enjoying that I'm on here and that I'm saying hi, and that I just want to show you around. And it's, you know, fall is kind of a weird thing because so much stuff is decaying and you know, turning back into mulch and soil and all of that. But at the same time, the birds are in here, the hummingbirds are in here still, and it's a whole lot of beautiful too. So back to Eden method has served me in good stead this summer. We went from 120, we had a couple of record-breaking 120-degree days in a row, and I didn't lose anything. And then I neglected it. I didn't hardly water. I didn't do anything. I didn't have the I wasn't healthy enough to do it, and I didn't have anybody that I was really wanting to come be around me when I had COVID just to take care of the garden, so it kind of got neglected. But it's always an interesting thing when the garden starts to push you around, because it's all extra. Every bit of it is for, you know, mental health, well-being, health, physical health when you're eating the good foods. It all sort of needs to stay in its place, and it was definitely a sad thing for me a little bit to not get to it, but at the same time, there's just so many things that are more important. So many things. So, but let me show you. I'll show you my pretty garden. Here's the overview. Corn is done. Several pumpkins are kind of poked out. My nasturtiums are still in full glory right here. I have a lot of kale and brassicas. Those are my parsnips that are still doing good. Look at all the zucchinis. It's like a zucchini graveyard. I actually thought about opening them up and getting seeds, but I think I have enough seeds already to last me forever. There's a big purple dahlia right there that's looking pretty. Just looking all pretty. Different kind of pretty than the spring, but definitely not desolate by any means. I uncovered this dirt so I could actually plant some seed just to see if I can get some up and going, even though it's late in the year. So that'll be fun to see. And let me show you that pumpkin over there. So I got a sweetmeat one that I grew there. And let's see if I can balance on these little guys. I'll show you my, look at everything, like sticker bushes are growing all through my lavender. So one thing at a time, we'll get there. And this is the edge of my contained garden spot. This fence is between us and the neighbors. But look at my big pumpkin that grew out there. And there's a green one down there. And I was telling my husband about it because he was out here working on something as I enjoy my view here. And I was looking down here. I've shown you guys the beefing. So this is the stump of a maple tree, and it's just trying to come back. And so we'll have to cut that back. And that's all stickers and crazy down there. But see, there's a pumpkin there, which I had seen. But underneath there's a huge one. Let me show you. Look at this huge beauty. I'm actually kind of excited. Might have to get somebody with muscles to get that out. And I did see those red berries right there? Right there. I just did a fun thing with leaves on my Instagram, and I put some of those in there, and I realized I didn't know what they were, so I looked them up. So, you know, berry from Oregon here, and it's nightshade, a red nightshade, totally lethal. And I was like, So first of all, I freaked out because I was like, oh, I didn't know we had anything like that around here. And then I was like, my friend Stephanie would appreciate this. Dun, 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 nightshade. How can we write that into a novel? Not that it hasn't been done, Hunger Games style, but yeah, little red berries. See, my husband's done grass clipping, so I have lots of mulch. My fennel is still going strong. These are cabbages, which really they're just pretty. They don't get enough light in here, I think, to be worth it much. Look, there's a little pumpkin right there. Just kind of fun to see all of the messiness. My tomatoes went like crazy this year. Rhubarb, that was a seed. I planted that rhubarb from seed this year, and it's almost as big as the other one that was already growing. So look at that. Lost my trail. Needs to be groomed. So much stuff just needs to be pulled out and put to bed for the year. And yeah, my tomatoes were really good when they were on, but I just didn't have the energy to get out here and show them off. It hasn't frosted yet, so there's still actually some green ones and stuff in here. These big old heirloom fancies, which is kind of nice. I wonder if there's actually any ripe ones in there. Probably not. Not getting a ton of sun. I harvested a bunch of beans from off of there. There's still a bunch more. Pulled in all my peppers. Just looking mighty grown up. I think I'm gonna make my greenhouse a place that I can create and write, so I can be outside without it being wet this winter. Looking forward to that. My writer friends that are watching on here, I turned in my second, let me turn this around. My writer friends that care for an update, my first novel that came out in May, my second one was due to be turned in right during the time I got COVID. So I had to get an extension on my deadline, which is like the biggest no-no ever. But they were super gracious, and so that's in and done now. But I definitely had my hands full getting that done with the energy level that post-COVID has left me with. But it is coming out on January 15th, and I'm about ready to have my cover reveal. Yes, and that means there's other things like, look over here, watch. See my 2 piles of bark chips? Yay, finally got some fresh bark chips. And my pathways can definitely use a tune-up on the bark chips. And so I'm looking forward to that. We also did get new neighbors up front, and that went from being kind of an unhealthy situation with kind of like squatters and addiction to a fresh new group of people. So we're kind of looking forward to the changes that brings. And I'm actually coming over here on purpose to show you this standing dahlia bulb. This dahlia, just love it that they keep going even into the fall. You know, they last a lot longer than other ones. So I'm gonna move that this spring because I don't want it to block my view. I like to look across, so I'm gonna bring that up over there and enjoy that. My sister-in-law, Liz Grandel, gave me several native plants because she lives close to my house, but she lives in a forested area where they have a lot of deer, so they don't get to plant with a garden or anything without a good fence because everything just gets nibbled. So sometimes she shares with me some of her native stuff. And this is, I think this is called an anemone, something like that. If anybody knows the exact name, but I've been enjoying this. They do not hold up in a bouquet. So I've been doing lots of bouquets with dahlias and mums and enjoying that beauty, but this is this. So I did plant some winter cabbage upstairs, and I started sprouting again and doing salad starts in my house. But one of the things that I want to do this year is, well, I've got to do my garlic and onions, which is going to just go slow. Even if I don't get it in, I'll get it in next spring. I just kind of have to be super patient. But I want to get a start of my mom's beauty bush. So the beauty bush has these berries on it that turn vibrant violet purple in this time of year, and I want to see if I can get some cuttings this fall and start that and have them here off of my mom's plants from my dad's house. I think that would be kind of fun. It's one of my winter goals this year. So I'll show you a few other things I think are pretty, and we'll be done. My row of chard and beets, nasturtiums, it looks like a jungle in there, but it's actually kind of beautiful. Nasturtiums, of course, don't stay in their boundaries. Oh, I'm constantly trying to learn this plant's name. It doesn't stick in my head for whatever reason. I want to call it impatience, but I don't think that's right. But anyways, these are a different color in the fall than they are in the spring. In the spring, they're more like this one. See how pink that one is? Look at this. See the difference? And either that or it mutated or something, or had other seeds. Second seeding of it came up. Definitely got some stuff that'll make it through the frost out here. And borage. See the borage blooming? The bees and the birds are super happy. Aren't those the hugest crookneck squashes you've ever seen? Because I didn't harvest them. And I have been really delighted because I planted potatoes in a handful of places, but I couldn't remember, after being sick for so long, I couldn't remember where I'd stashed those at. And so I've found them a couple of times and dug them and found, and it's like Christmas in the garden. It's really entertaining to me. I think this will be the flower bed this will be the bed I put to bed first. Look at all of those cucumbers, the lemon cucumbers. Some of them look like I could probably even still snitch a few, but we picked so many out of here, and there's that many that are left behind. I'm gonna cut my chives back. I do have some carrots that are growing in over there, and I've been eating those and enjoying that. And then there's some chard there and some different broccolis and stuff. Something actually got in here and chewed on this nasty old zucchini. So I was curious about that. I wonder which critter it is. But so I want to come in here with cardboard and put a layer of cardboard down and then cover it with mulch from my chicken pen. So what I do is I actually buy straw and then unfurl it in the chicken pen and let the chickens go through it and pick all the whatever remnant of seed that's left in there, because I've had miserable luck with basically planting my garden with an annual grass seed, but it's still a pain in the butt to get rid of. And so I let them pick through it and scratch through it and fertilize it and all of that, and then all of that will come out and be put on my garden as soon as I have energy to do my wheelbarrows again, which is not going to be today. Today I think I'm gonna eat some carrots and drink my tea, and my oldest son is in town out here because he's hunting up at my dad's house, trying to harvest, of course. I'm gonna see if I can talk him into collecting these big heavy pumpkins and putting them up here so I can actually see everything I grew all at once. So that's what I'm doing. It's good to be back. I think you'll see more of me again. I definitely like the beauty of the garden, and it's been so sunny and pretty. Just look at that back there. It's just so, can you see my little creek back there? The view, just so pretty. Anyways, happy gardening. I always feel a little bit like the winter is the house plant season of my life too. I sort of barely keep my plants alive in the summertime and then appreciate everything green and growing in the winter. So we might have to do a little update on the house plants at some point too. So happy gardening, I'm back, and thank you for hanging in there with me, and I'm sure we'll find more ways to do fun things in the next season. I keep remembering things to tell you. It's definitely been a while since I've updated you, so I'm having fun. But this time last year, this entire garden wasn't here. We did this from November through February. We actually moved my garden, and my goal last year was to just not have any green. Like, I wanted the whole ground to be covered, which I will say I thoroughly succeeded in that. It's still pretty green. So I don't know that I have a goal yet for next year. I might need some time to daydream and think about it, but I am sure appreciating the beauty. And I've been making salads with like 10 ingredients in it, and I made my herb salts and stuff like that, because herb salt was one of those simple, easy things you could do with low energy outflow. So it's very good, very good. And so I think I'll say goodbye for the 14th time in a row, but it's good to see everybody, and happy watching on the YouTube garden stuff. Bye.